What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde Black for our everyday vibes. This episode is brought to you by AC Memento. AC Memento, your digital sports and concert scrapbook. Download Memento today by following the link in the show notes or on any of our social profile bios. Y'all, it's officially preseason in beautiful Austin, Texas, and this week we're rounding up some team news. We're taking stock of headlines around the league, and we're diving into our first player profile, of the season on Canadian attacker Jayden Nelson. Before closing out the episode, as always, with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Paul Fletes.
And I'm Logan Bartlett.
And as always, we're kicking things off with some preheated takes. So, Lobar, why don't you go ahead and give us what you got?
Can do. So I have it that, given all the off-season roster change we're seeing, new players in, old players out, I'm saying Austin will see at least 3 new additions to the starting lineup on match day 1.
I like that.
Thanks, dude.
I'm
thinking a little, maybe a little new DP, maybe a little Canadian national team winger action, maybe a little new left back or right back or something like that.
For sure.
Maybe new midfielder.
But you're saying starting though, right?
Yes. Yeah, 3 new faces to the starting lineup.
I like it. I'm not going to lie, G. My preheated take does resemble yours from maybe a few weeks ago where you mentioned something about a DP, but I wanted to try to drill down a little bit more specific. And it actually, I think we both get this point now, but we'll talk about it here shortly. But I had that Austin will have 3 DPs on the roster before the starting 11 drops February 21st.
Wow, that's like really different from Austin will have a new DP in 2026.
I mean,
that's like
can you how do I say this? I'm obviously way more specific than you are, bro.
Oh yeah. You're right. My bad.
Bro cast the widest net possible, and I was like starting 11 and by
bro was like Tom Bogert said something today. Time to lock it in. Let me wait till I could see the Tom Bogert bomb.
No. I had this written out literally before that Bogert bomb dropped.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Trust.
You're right.
Anyway.
It's definitely not.
Well, I mean, let's get right into it, man. Because I mean, it's news. It's official. We won't see this news and put anything before it. So let's just go ahead and kick it off. Austin FC have officially signed Facundo Torres from Palmeiras. Deal done, pending visas. $9.5 million fee. Folks, this is our new DP. Lobar, how are you feeling, brother?
I'm not feeling bad. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I see a lot of green in places that we need it. When you look at the FB ref progressive or player comparison, little buckets.
Yeah.
He scores goals, gets assists. He plays aggressive in the attack. That's all good. And I like that. Can we go unlock that and put him in a position to excel offensively? Let's hope so, because that would be cool. But now we've spent, over $30 million on our front 3 attacking DPs. And, we're going to I expect a lot of goals myself. So I'm feeling good. I think this dude has the pedigree to succeed, on offensively and score goals and stuff. Yeah. And we'll see how he fits into whatever our system looks like in 2026. I think this also officially kills the James Rodriguez rumors, which were swirling. Nobody knew if it was going to be DP, Tim, whatever. Bogert in follow-up to the Facundo Torres signing tweet was like, also, I just need to say it, that's never been a validated rumor. So James Rodriguez is not going to Austin FC nor the other 23 MLS teams he's been linked to.
Yeah.
So, I feel good about that too. So
I appreciated him sticking to the bit there a little bit where he had the Bart meme where it's like,
the Bart Simpson. Yeah, exactly. That was funny.
How are you feeling? For sure. No, I'm feeling great, man. I think this is going to be a really good signing for Austin specifically because one, I think it signals, and we talked about this last episode, but it signals kind of like a win now mentality, right? We see that the ownership has not shied away from splashing cash where it needs to. And it's just a matter of getting the results on the pitch. But, I think the ownership is doing a good job. Fans should feel good about that, that we have a competent, group that sees the need, and if we get it across the line, it's all the better. But yeah, going to be good. And then yeah, hoping for goals like you said, and much more. But we got more news to continue on with, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, Verde and Black are back in action at St. David's Performance Center to start the 2026 preseason. Great to see familiar faces with the new in training and both off the pitch. Lobar, what are you most excited about the preseason?
I'm excited to see how this roster gels, right? We have a great returning group of veterans who've been on this team a long time. We re-signed Owen Wolf, we re-signed John Gallagher. We got Stu for another couple years. We bring in Damian Loss, who has good rapport with some of the guys, the younger guys. And then we bring in new signings, Rosales, Nelson, now Torres. And I think that adds a little bit of mystery to what we see on the field, right? Are we playing a back five? Where does Rosales slot in? Is Beto still the starter with Rosales in the midfield centrally? Are we starting both Nelson and Facundo Torres? So it's all interesting. And the unknown is fun. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out across these games. The Coachella Valley Invitational, the preseason game on, was it January 31st that we get to go to at Q2?
Feb 1, I think, February 1st.
Sunday, February 1st. So it'll be a fun chance to see things start to play out. Hopefully we see Torres at least at the stadium, to say hello, whether or not he sees the pitch.
For sure.
We need green smoke first, and we need the Austin FC to say everything's official, but visas, etc. So a lot of interesting mystery of what could happen, though. I like that.
Yeah. I dig it. For me, it's always the kits, or not the kits, sorry, the boots in preseason, because I always just like geeking out over the different boots that the players start training with and stuff like that. I know there was a post that Gally shared a few weeks ago. He was doing some individual training, and he had some retro Hypervenom, Nikes, and I was like, oh my God, dude, those are so nice. So anyway, I'm hoping that players bring out some fun.
All these pay raises, bro, bet people better.
Yeah, exactly right. I feel that. Well, you mentioned this just a while ago, Lobar, but the club has agreed to contract extensions for both Danny Pereira and John Gallagher. Looks like both players are guaranteed through the 2027-2028 seasons with an option for 28 and 29. I guess my short question is this: are you surprised that the club still has both of these players on the books, or were you expecting something different here?
Yeah, not really surprised that they're still here, but maybe a little like, oh, okay, that Danny's not gone. Not for any negative reason. He's just played consistently well for 5 years in Austin now, and could have earned a look in Europe somewhere, likely. And with all these big signings, the club may be looking to make a little money here and there from transfers out. So not necessarily surprised, but just like, oh, cool. We're sticking with the guys that we know. And I'm not mad at that. Gally, again, not necessarily surprised because he is such like an Iron Man, jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife guy for Austin. And he's nearing the end of his prime, age-wise at least, on paper. For a guy that relies a lot on pace and athleticism. And also with all the signings he brought in at positions that he plays, it's curious to see where he fits. Is he going to be a super sub anywhere on the pitch? Either wing or either of the wings or either of the outside backs. Will he get some play in a back five, playing as more advanced? But we'll see. But I guess that number or that surprise or thought just depends on how much he's making. If he's not making a crazy amount of money still, then that's the kind of guy you keep on the roster. So
for sure.
I like it.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just a matter of, kind of locking in the value of these players since we haven't really been able to move on from them. Not saying, again, like you were saying, negatively by any means. We appreciate their service and them being kind of day ones for us in Austin. But, in the event that someone asks with the right number, I think we'll be able to capture as much value as we can there. But I think moving on, looking at one of our homegrowns, our offensive player of 2025, Owen Wolf apparently successfully underwent surgery to address a sports hernia.
Mm-hmm.
And Lobar, as our resident subscriber to rehabilitative services, what does this mean for Owen's availability on match day 1?
I think it's technically doubtful. He's supposed to return mid-February or have fully recovered by mid-February.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has a solid week of training that he gets the start and maybe comes off early.
Sure.
Or if they just save him for match day 2, and that's okay too. But I think for me and maybe a lot of fans out there, I'd like to see us at full strength at the Q2 home opener. And if Owen's ready to go and feeling up to the challenge, then let's see him in the starting lineup in whatever position we expect him to be in by that point. But that does add to the mystery, right? Because he's not going to play all preseason. So what is that? Where does he fit in this roster now that we've brought in a bunch of wingers and guys that could play elsewhere in the central midfield? What's his fit? I would expect a starter after full recovery, but we're on the field. We don't know. And we won't get to see that because he's not playing. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
I get that. Yeah, I think I don't see him immediately starting on match day 1 for that reason. But I think if you have to include Austin's best 11, he's in there somewhere. So I wouldn't worry too much if I'm an Austin FC fan. We will see him. And the way he ended the season, on such a tear, I wouldn't be surprised, to see him kind of picking back up from there and contributing more for the Verde Black. But speaking of match day 1, before looking ahead to the 2026 MLS season opener against Minnesota United on February 21st, we do have a season ticket holder exclusive open preseason matchup at Q2 that sees Austin hosting the Eastern Conference foes NYCFC. That's Sunday, February 1st at 2 p.m. For those that are season ticket holders, I believe tickets should already be in your SeatGeek account. If not, I would definitely check in with your ticket reps and get that sorted. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lobar, but is this the first or the second preseason match to be open to the public? And more specifically, I guess, like season ticket holders, because I want to say there was another match that was
there
open.
was. I think you watched it from the stairs in the Verde store, but I don't.
Right.
We got to see the training last year, is what it was.
I think that's what it was.
Got to see them doing open training at Q2, and Ilya Sanchez spoke to the crowd, and we had double days and shit like that. Right? Wasn't that preseason?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah. It was that training. That's what it was, but it wasn't an actual.
Yeah, we got like a 7v7 short field kind of vibe.
Yes,
but no opposing team. So I think this is the first time ever outside of Verde Hill that we get live action of a game,
for sure.
Which is
fun, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, we did have that Atlas friendly before the 22 season.
That's right.
That was late Driussi penalty that equalized for us. And I was like, all right, we're winning everything. And we almost did.
Seriously.
Good times, man.
For real.
But cool. Yeah. So, I mean, you like this, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I like it. I think this is the perfect kind of way to engage season ticket holders in an out of game event,
Yeah.
There have been some criticisms from folks across the internet and the fan base over the years for the maybe lack of recognition that season ticket holders get compared to other clubs in terms of gear and memorabilia and opportunity to see the team and whatnot.
For sure.
I think this is a very easy way to add to that package that season ticket holders can expect year to year and should keep it up. And I think last year too, the preseason training thing was a good touch for us to just see everybody again in our home stadium, in our gear and our new jerseys and see some cool shit. So
hell yeah.
I like it. It's a good move.
Yeah, I dig it too. I will definitely be there. I'm hoping you're there.
I will be.
Right beside me.
Hand in hand.
Scream our little hearts out whenever Austin goes 15-0 against the Pigeons, bro. But anyway.
Double hat trick for Uzuni.
Bro. I'm so here for it. And last but not least, we have FCito, Austin FC 2, which has announced their preseason schedule, which includes matches against Collegiate and other Next Pro teams, all behind closed doors. The team began preseason this past weekend on the 17th, with some players already training as early as the 10th of January. Important to note that this season, 2026, is the team's first with head coach Jason Shackle, who has been with Austin since 2021, that is, as an academy coach. So Lobar, can the people
Mm-hmm.
count on you to show up to no less than 3 matches in 26?
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Oh.
That's all I got.
Oh.
No.
I'm going to at least try, because if I can make 3, that triples the amount of games that I went to in 25. So
after that Open Cup 2020, was it 24 Open Cup year?
I believe so. It was,
SC2 lost
against
to
that
4-0
Dallas
SC.
time.
Yeah. After that, I was like, I gotta take a little break. My heart's in it too much.
But this is the year, man. You got it's a fresh start after Utley, and we understand that it's a development team. We're just there for the vibes, right? It's a good little night out, I think, of soccer. But
I agree.
Anyway,
good vibes.
For sure. Well, let's take a quick look around the league for our halftime segment now. I don't know, man. It feels like these teams are trying to level up every year or something. Not quite sure, but right off rip, we've got Austin fans having more reason to show up on the 21st, as apparently last week, Minnesota United have announced Austin's first ever manager, Josh Wolf, to be joined with Cameron Knowles on the touchline as their assistant coach. So, I mean, any words, kind or foul, to share with listeners about Josh's latest post?
That's cool. I think he will likely be just a I don't know. I don't have much, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Good for him. He should be a good assistant coach in this league, and maybe one day he gets back to the sideline, and at the top of an organization and coaches again. And I think he might deserve a second chance at some point if he keeps doing good work at good organizations. So that's cool for him. Although this is only his second good organization in his career, so to be fair.
Yeah.
Or at least I mean, post Austin. I mean, I wouldn't count the Bayou.
Yeah, Houston, I don't think was a good showing from him and that staff. But I mean, that's just Houston in general.
Yeah, no, that's no fault of his, I would say.
Yeah, so, for sure. But I mean, he did pick it. So
yeah, true. I think that's cool that he gets to do that, and maybe one day we'll see him when he's actually coaching a team.
Are we gonna boo? Are we booing on the 21st, or what's up?
No, I'm good.
No, okay.
I don't really want to.
Lobar on his conciliatory vibes. Everyone, yeah, I like it.
It's 2022. It's removed enough that I respect it enough, and I'll give him credit for that, and that's cool.
Fuck it, man. I hope they fly the banner on the 21st, bro. Bring that back.
Wolf Dut. Let's do it.
Let's get it.
That would be funny.
Right. Speaking of Houston, we have Mateus Bogusz to Houston as a DP. We got Ache back as a non-DP.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, should we be concerning ourselves with Dynamo at all this season or ever, frankly? What's the vibe?
I'm going to enjoy my time when we play them because it's fun for me to watch us big brother this team. The occasional L here and there, not worried about it, bro.
Sure.
Bogusz is a good player. He made a bad decision in his career, and that's on him. So, Ache, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't spit on a ref again.
Bro, I know.
And we'll see what happens with that.
Sure.
I do like the Bogusz pickup. I will say that. Just in any team, I think he would do well really anywhere in MLS. And he's
lit it up at LAFC,
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Really,
so he's
really
a talented guy.
There.
I wouldn't be mad if he ended up in Austin in a different universe, But that's cool. And it's a good city for an international player to go to, right? It's a very diverse town. So
this is true.
Good for him.
This is true. In more winger-related talk, we have former Earthquakes DP Christian Espinoza, who's officially signed for Nashville as their DP. Walk us through that attack real quick. Kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, man. Like, this attack is what Austin should strive for on paper, right? I mean, you have the Buanga son, that kind of vibe. Like, that's all cool, but that's just a different pedigree. Like, having Espinoza, Mukhtar, and Surge up top as your big money guys.
Yeah.
I hope that Austin can replicate some of the success that I expected them to have. Because Surge and Mukhtar already last year destroyed the league and did their thing in Open Cup too. So I think this is a crazy signing for them. and I think he'll be very successful there with those other guys. And yeah, I think they're a good ass team. So they just got better, and that's scary.
Yeah, no, I agree. A lot of respect over there in Nashville. For winning their first big trophy here at Q2. But I don't know, man. I feel good about the Torres signing. That I'm like, hey, I think we might be up there now.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
know?
On paper wise, we should, with the healthy Vasquez and Uzuni figuring it out in year 2, we should be competing with those types of attacks. So
for sure,
yeah.
for sure. Well, looking on more of the eastern side of the country, we've got in Indiana's rental property. Miami. That's a national championship college football reference there.
Yep, there you go. There you go.
I made it. I did it. I did it. I feel good.
I like it.
The Herons have inked Betarame's signature with a $15 million DP position, and have also managed to secure Tadeo Allende as a non-DP player. Bro, how do they do it?
I'm going to keep it G-rated here because I have a lot of other things that I could say as to how they do it, but definitely not involving Don Garber and favors. They have Messi and David Beckham, so that's pretty much all you need. David Beckham has changed the league once already, and he's doing it again. This time from the owner's position, and Messi will get whatever he wants and needs to continue his legacy and make MLS look better for it.
True.
So, I mean, yeah, that's how. But that's cool. I mean, that's a crazy signing after the news. So
it's wild to think about, because also just from a roster nationality standpoint, I think we talked about this off air while we were planning, but like there's just so much Argentine and that Southern American, influence in Miami, which, is nice, I guess, but it really does kind of ice out the American player there in Miami. So just something to think about, but
yeah.
Anyway, well, that's enough of league-wide stuff. I want us to get back home to Austin. And so when we come back from the break, we will be kicking off the first player profile of the 2026 season with Canadian international attacker Jayden Nelson. So hang tight. We'll be back. And we're back. And Lobar, I mean, we talked about this at the start of the episode. I mean, we've got this Canadian international, Jayden Nelson, coming to us. I think it was a GAM trade or something like that.
Something like that.
With Vancouver Whitecaps. So let's talk about him. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's just fucking, I don't know what that was, man. But anyway, so Jayden came through the Toronto FC Academy, making his debut in 2020 at the age of 18. He played for Toronto through 22, where he recorded 1 goal and 3 assists in roughly 2,400 minutes. He then transferred to Norwegian side Rosenborg, where he contributed 8 goals and 8 assists across 44 appearances. And then he returned to MLS in 25, back to Vancouver, where he contributed 2 goals and 6 assists and helped them reach the CONCACAF Champions Cup final, Canadian Cup final, and the MLS Cup final. He has made 12 caps for the Canadian international team and is thought to be just on the cusp of making Marsh's World Cup roster this summer. This past weekend, he was involved in a friendly against Guatemala, where he was a live wire during his 81 minutes on the pitch. He did record 1 shot and created 3 scoring chances. And his aggressive attacking play was at times undermined by some poor decision-making, but overall, it was considered that the youngster routinely unbalanced Guatemala's defenders with his probing play. This from Jesse Marsh. He said, "We've been pushing Jayden to be more dynamic in moments where he can get balls in behind. I thought he was good there. He was aggressive when he went in 1v1 situations. He was also clever and dynamic in some little combination moments." So, yeah, let's just kick it off right there. Lobar, do you see Nelson as a natural replacement for Bukhari? I mean, in terms of position and style of play, what do you say?
I think so. But obviously, Bukhari was bringing a Champions League pedigree, and had done it at the some of the biggest levels in Europe, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's never going to be a perfect replacement for a player of that caliber. Now we can
Sure.
get into the Facundo Torres talk about what that looks like, but um, as for Nelson, in terms of the similar style of like play and tactics that we can rely on him for. He can get it behind. He could take a guy one on one. He's not afraid of those kind of situations. He may not do it as consistently and as successfully as Bukhari did,
Mm-hmm.
but seeing as we barely play through Bukhari like that in that kind of way down the stretch, um, having someone that's much cheaper and younger who can grow with this team, I don't think that's a bad thing. And this guy has a lot to play for as well, right?
Yep.
He's got national team opportunity, he's got pay raise opportunity, all these kinds of things that he's probably looking at just the age of 23. And maybe he has his eyes back on Europe long term as well, right? So it's a dude that has a lot to play for. That will likely scrap for opportunity and fill the position that Nico needs him to. If I'm not mistaken, his comparison or his stat comparison has him pretty favorably in the defensive side of things.
Mm.
He has a high work rate when it comes to defense, so that's good in a Nico Estevez kind of 10-man defense that we saw at times in
For sure.
2025. So I think he's the right profile player that Nico wants on the team, uh, with similarities to Bakari, um, all for cheaper, and he
Yeah.
wants to be here. So
Yeah. The article that we were looking at that mentioned that Guatemala friendly listed him as a midfielder, which I thought was really interesting as well, right? Because you were talking about, the players that we're bringing in are positionally versatile.
mhm.
And so I think to have someone who maybe isn't as much of a touchline player as, say, a Bukhari was, but maybe it sounds like Jayden is also pretty equipped enough to intermix with the central midfield there. So that could be an interesting little wrinkle in this offense. But
Yeah.
I mean, we had originally planned this discussion without talking at all about a DP winger, and yet we just signed Facundo Torres. So, I mean, shifting this question a little bit with Torres now on the books, I mean,
Mhm.
do we see Jayden as a starting 11 or more of a like first off the bench kind of situation? What are you thinking here?
That's hard, man, because they're also, the Brandon Vasquez situation and play factors into this long term, going into the summer when he is likely to return. Um, and you have to start Vasquez. You got to start your three DPs, right?
Yeah.
Which are essentially two strikers and a winger, and Uzuni can play the wing as well. So
Yeah.
realistically, when all three DPs are here, they're the two wingers and striker. So that kind of boxes out Jayden Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
I think early on, before the BV9 return, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him start, especially if Owen Wolf is, given time to recover and come back to full strength. We
Mm-hmm.
might see two wingers as Nelson and Torres, or even if we take our time with Facundo Torres, right? If he needs a little bit of time, he doesn't get here till later in the um, preseason, then again, he might be a guy that needs a couple games before he can play 90. So I
For sure.
think Jayden Nelson gets his opportunity there early on in the first month or so. And I think if he impresses and plays very well, it gives Nico a lot to think about in terms of where he fits in the roster, at least until BV9 comes back, and makes him think about what to do with Owen Wolf, right? Do we solidify him as an eight, Nelson as the de facto starter on the wing?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think all the cards play how I hope they do, he's probably first guy off the bench, maybe next to Galley or somebody like that who can, or Beto or Rosales. Like there's guys that'll be like the first three, and I think he'll be in that top.
Yeah.
Um, but then there's even Obrion still, right? At least for now, and we're still paying him a bunch of money, so
Yep.
you kind of got to consider value versus you know just reality of where people stand in the pecking order. So I hope so.
For
That's my
sure.
short answer. I hope he gets his opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another way of saying that is, do we think that Jayden is going to be a floor raiser, for this roster as opposed to a ceiling raiser? And I think
Mhm.
the answer, I don't know, to me, I feel like this is an incremental floor raise, to have
Interesting.
Jayden on on our winger depth because, you think about the fact that we are in 3 competitions this season, right? Where I think
Mhm.
we are doing Open Cup, we are doing Leagues Cup as
Yeah,
well
yeah,
as the league. So I think there is going to be opportunity for him to prove himself. And I mean, early
uh,
on in the 25 season when Vancouver was like unstoppable,
yeah.
he was showing quite a bit of his skill set in terms of just his paciness and ability to take defenders one-on-one. So
Right, right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's there.
I think that's a fair take. I would almost say he's like the floor doesn't fall out with him in, but the
Yeah.
ceiling really rises more so.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think because he plays with risk and like aggressiveness in a way.
Sure.
Just going back to the Jesse Marsh quotes where he's like, yeah, he makes some mistakes here and there, but he goes for it.
Yeah.
I think that can really raise the ceiling of how far we can go in those competitions. In like games where we're trailing, like he's a guy that I would want in the last 20 minutes to just sprint and go for it.
For
Uh,
sure.
and I think that really raises the ceiling of what we can accomplish.
Good
Uh,
point.
but in the fall doesn't fall out. The floor doesn't fall out underneath the team when he comes in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a fun opportunity for him.
For sure. And you mentioned this earlier, but I think it's definitely worth noting here in terms of what he has to play for. And with Canada being one of the 3 automatic bids for the World Cup this coming summer, do you feel like he's got the opportunity to rise to the occasion and solidify that spot with the national team? Because
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not a lock, of course. There are
Mm-hmm.
some MLS Canadians that are definitely locks, but
Yeah.
how are we feeling there?
Yesterday, I would have said yes because he would have had more opportunity just given the state of the roster. Today,
Mm-hmm.
with the Facundo Torres signing, I just think things really have to fall perfectly for him, and he has to play the best soccer of his life for 3-4 months
Yeah,
and start every game or earn his starting spot until guys come back from injury and whatnot.
for sure.
So I think with the way the roster's panned out, that likelihood kind of has really plummeted.
Yeah,
Um, there's probably a small chance, or maybe Jesse Marsh is looking at the national team more from like a complete wholesome point of view, not just take the best players possible,
mm-hmm.
where he sees Jayden Nelson plays a clear role, like as a bench player, adding a lot of value for Austin and can spot start here and there. Maybe he
Yeah,
values that, to compare it to like basketball national team in the U.S. Guys like Steve Kerr and Coach Popovich have done that, where they have role players from the NBA who play a specific role that the team needs when there's 5 superstars on the team,
sure.
uh, to like fill that kind of role. And maybe Marsh is thinking that way. So
Yeah.
there's an opportunity either way, but he really has to play his best soccer of his life, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And that's just for this summer. Cause I think something to also think about. I mean, yeah, it'd be an honor to represent your country, especially when you're hosting it like that. But, he's still a young player. There's still going to be opportunity beyond that Gold
Yes.
Cup and all that jazz. Um, So yeah, I think it's interesting because I think this friendly with Guatemala doesn't necessarily count towards a FIFA cap, but it was an opportunity for a lot of players on that Canadian national team to kind of
Yeah.
get their first taste of action there. And I don't know, I think like kind of like what you were saying, barring any significant injury to the Canadian winger depth or anything like that, I think it is going to be a much harder hill to climb now with
Yeah.
Facundo in his way. But
I
that
agree.
should serve as really good competition, I think, for Austin. I think we kind of be excited about that. He's going to want to prove himself against solid not opposition rather, but like, good teammates and stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll be good, man. We'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to add about Jayden before we close out and head over to stoppage?
I'm just excited for that signing. I think it's a good
Yeah.
signing, especially. Well, I think either way it was a good signing, but especially with the Torres news, like
Mm,
that fills the DP position that people were maybe nervous to, or not confident that Jayden could fill to the capacity that DP would.
right.
And I think it takes a little bit of pressure off him and just lets him play freely to where he
Yeah.
can be that big impact guy when injury strikes or when he's coming off the bench and we're trailing. Like, just let him guns blaze, just go for it. So I
For
think it's
sure.
a good mix for him to really show his worth in kind of a variety of situations.
Hell yeah.
So
Well,
shout
I
out to
dig
him.
it, man.
Yeah.
I dig it. Shout out Jayden. We're excited to see you ball out. And yeah, it'd be good. Well, shall we jump into some stoppage?
Yeeth.
Hell yeah. And I do want to just preface this by saying we are starting with a bit of a downer here, as we were talking about World Cup stuff, but naturally FIFA and all that jazz always gets into some cynicism. And we have the latest on that with this 2026 World Cup, as the first to ever introduce fees for the previously free FIFA FanFest zones. Lobar, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a sad decision to see. That, from what I understand, those fan zones to watch games that are either in your city or elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
abroad, were kind of like the equalizer. That's
Yeah.
what they were pegged as. They were the great equalizer. When World Cup tickets are, unattainable for most, this was a way to continue to give people an opportunity to connect with the beautiful game at the highest of stages. And it's just lame to see. And it makes it even worse that it's specifically here in the U.S. and New York, that they're doing it for the first time ever. It continues to paint a negative light on U.S. soccer and the situation of it, I think. And I just think it's a bad precedent to set. So it's sad to see.
I agree, man. Because the president, or not president, well, I mean, that's a whole different thing too. But the precedent here is that, like, yeah, man. I mean, you're in, the largest city, or like how do I say this, man? But it's just like a city like New York, right? You can almost afford to do that. But that shouldn't be the case, man. And that's frustrating. And so I don't know, just a friendly reminder that, your local pubs and your restaurants and bars down here are probably going to be showing that. They're probably going to be having specials. Tip your bartenders, like, let's hang out. Let's show out for soccer and the beautiful game. So yeah, fuck FIFA and the decision to,
and it's on FIFA. Let's make that clear. Like, it's not the U.S. Soccer Federation. It's not the city of New York. It's not Mamdani.
Right.
It's FIFA. That did this. So it's sad to see.
Yep. Infantino, man. Today I feel fuck you. Anyway, sorry for the expletive there. But moving on to some women's soccer news, we've got U.S. women's national team captain Lindsay Heaps leaving Olympic Lyon for Denver Summit, kicking off this year. That's pretty cool.
It's a huge signing for the team. I mean, their first season, they get a current women's national team legend and captain to lead the team, who's in one of the best teams in the world, the best leagues in the world, right? And it's pretty crazy signing, honestly, for the brand new club. Granted, that club has deep ties to women's national soccer and whatnot through their ownership and investors. It's not surprising, but for that quality of player,
great signing for sure, right? It's like Austin signing Rodney Rudd. No, I'm sorry, that's totally off the mark. I'm thinking like a San Diego with Chucky Lozano, right? Like, that's
right. It's that kind of vibe, and it's a return to home for Lindsay too. So it's cool to see. Like, she's from Colorado, from just outside Denver. So like, it is a return home. It's a homecoming. They were very fortunate that a great player for the national team happened to be from their town. So
hell yeah, how to capitalize.
Yep.
And looking at the NWSL, they had just released their 2026 schedule. And some big key notes to include are, obviously, they have two new teams kicking off. You have Boston Legacy and Denver Summit.
Yep.
And a whopping 4 chances to catch Austin away day, and Austin away day, and some NWSL action in one weekend this year. So speaking of that Denver Summit team, I believe August 1st is the weekend that Austin plays Colorado Rapids, and Denver Summit will play Boston Legacy.
Oh, so that's a fun weekend.
That's a pretty big weekend. So I'm kind of keeping that on the calendar there as like a fun footy weekend in the Rocky Mountains. So
I think the big one for the Fletes household is Austin at Houston and Houston Dash at home in the same weekend.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's definitely going to be a hold it down weekend for me, respectfully.
yeah, for
Obviously,
sure.
I'll be repping Austin for our away day, but
Yeah,
the day before on that Friday, we will be repping orange for the dash.
respect, respect, respect. Did
Hell yeah,
San Diego
man!
one of them? I don't recall. I feel like you would have brought it up.
It is not, unfortunately. I
They
was
play
looking
at the
at
same stadium.
the
So.
wave, but no, the other two are actually. It looks like Austin FC away at St. Louis,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can also go to KC Current versus Portland, or when we go away to Sporting Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
you can also catch the Current play Washington Spirit.
Ooh, that'd
So
be a great game.
yeah, and that's
The
late October
two
as
good
well. So
teams. Yeah, when it matters, that's fun.
yeah. And fun
Cool.
fact, I was looking this up because I don't know geography apparently, but like um, Energizer Park, where St. Louis City play, is like 3 hours away from Current. So even though they've got like that St. Louis, um, Missouri relationship and all that stuff, it's actually much closer to catch a Sporting Kansas City match and a
Mm-hmm.
Current match because those complexes are only like 20 minutes apart.
That makes sense.
CPKC Stadium and Children's Mercy Park are literally 22-minute drive away from each other. So
Yeah, it's crazy that the two teams in Kansas City who have KC in their name are so close to each other. That's
right.
crazy.
That's
Wow.
yeah, just one of those things
Yeah.
I never think about. Kind of like tying my
Yeah.
shoes,
You're
bro.
like,
I'm
wait a
like,
minute.
wait, what?
Funny.
Oh, that's funny. Looking elsewhere, we've got AFCON news to report about.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Senegal, they are crowned 2026 AFCON champions for the second time in their history. A pair of 1-0 victories against Mali and Egypt set them up for an appointment with Morocco, which is pretty wild. Lobar,
Mm-hmm.
did you get a chance to see that?
I saw the highlights and shit
Yeah.
went hard.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was crazy, man.
The environment of the crowd was awesome.
Mhm.
Um, going to extra time or going to extra time is always a vibe. You get extra 30 minutes in a final.
For sure.
Racing towards penalty shootout. Yeah, that final was sick. The game winner was a banger.
Yeah.
The keeper was going off. It was a fun time.
Yeah. It was cool, man, and good to see, former Chelsea man Edouard Mendy with
Mm-hmm.
his save, the Panenka
Yeah,
attempt.
the Panenka. Yeah, thank you for bringing that. I forgot about that. Yeah,
Mhm.
at the end of regulation to win the
Yep.
game, and fucking bro tries to Panenka Mendy. What the
Yep.
fuck?
And I guess we should also say, Nico Jackson gets
True.
his flowers as well,
True. Shout out to him.
So good to see those guys balling out and the rest of the team. My understanding is that Sadio Mane is still him. He had a big influence on the attack.
For sure.
And that team's, drive to the final. So yeah, good on them. Looking back locally here in Austin, talking a little bit UT football. We've got Coleman. That's it. That's the bullet. We've got
the
Coleman.
Point. UT got Coleman. Yeah, Cam Coleman, if I'm not mistaken, he was like top 2 most sought after transfer portal guys this year, if not number 1 outright. And out of Auburn, and we got him. UT got him, and people are already talking shit on UT's behalf, and I like that.
Yeah,
like talking big talk is what I mean.
Right.
Talking
Like
shit on UT, but they're like, oh shit,
multiple
like,
booms and such.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like Arch, Cam Coleman, brand new running back room, new offensive lineman coming in from the best player from solid teams coming in from all over the place.
All I'm gonna say is respectfully, don't rank us number 1 in the preseason. It doesn't work well for us.
Yeah. Put us
Just
unranked so that when we win 4 straight,
Don't
they're
do
like,
it,
oh,
bro.
top 10.
Exactly. And then, as always, closing it out with Chelsea. The Liam Rossinier era at Chelsea kicked off with a banging 5-1 FA Cup thumping of Charlton Athletic, followed by an unfortunate 3-2 loss against Arsenal in the EFL Cup. And that's a 2-legged affair. So we're not out just yet. We still have to go over to the Emirates and fight our way back. But we followed that up with a 2-0 win against Brentford in the league. And tomorrow, so yesterday for the listeners, a hopeful 3 points against Paphos in the Champions League. So quite a big slate for the new manager to come in. 4 different competitions. That's thanks on Maresca, of course, setting him up for that. But
for sure.
Yeah, what have your thoughts been so far?
It's it hasn't been a bad start. I think I like what he's saying in the interviews. He's confident. He knows English football as an English footballer who played in the Prem for so long.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the Blue Coast system for a long while, so he's familiar with working with ownership and expectations. It's not new to him,
Yeah.
And the team's playing interesting football. It's crazy how fast professional footballers can make minor changes that look
And
so different
adapt. Yeah.
and adapt when you give them the chance. And I wish MLS could do that sometimes, but yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good start. If not for a Robert Sanchez stinker, he might be 3-0 to start, and maybe 4-0 after this week's Champions League game start his career. So that's hot. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, any modern coach, and I say modern post, we'll call it sorry era. Any manager that can beat Arsenal gets my heart, because we have yet to do that in a minute, and I desperately need that.
Yeah, if we
to
can
fill
get
my
into
cup.
leg 2, I'll feel real good.
Yeah,
That's next week, right?
I think so. Yeah, the return leg there at the Emirates. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, man, it'll be good. I'm excited. And just definitely on a tangent here, but we shared off air amongst ourselves a little open letter, on what was it, the Telegraph or something that Liam Rossinier shared. It was kind of like a thing to open letter to President Trump. This was back in the 2020 or 20 something like that. Yeah. So cool to see that he's like socially, aware of what's going on, and willing to speak up on that. So
I'm sure he'll do it again before his term is up. So
true. This time in Chelsea
Trump's
blue.
term. I mean,
right.
Yeah. So I like that. Talk that shit.
For sure. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and close it out with that. So as always, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Paul Fletes. You can find me at Paul Andrew FC.
It's government name. And I'm Logan Bartlett. Catch me online at Lobar VHLM.
Hell yeah. And as always, we keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. And if you can, always consider leaving a review. Does not cost you a thing, just a couple of taps of your thumb on that screen. Yep. Make sure you like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts. Keep in touch. And that is an episode, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Oh, why are you screaming at me?
Oh, my God.